Welcome to the Simpler Business Podcast, where we talk about ways to do what you love and serve your people in a way that brings you income and freedom. I'm your host, Marissa Roberts. Join me as I chat with my favorite entrepreneurs about how they simplify their biz so that you can simplify yours. Let's talk launches. Do you love them or do you hate them? Lots of business owners, lots of course creators, lots of coaches. I think they approach them with a mix of excitement, it's potential for great sales, but also a little bit of dread because it's a ton of work. What if it doesn't bring in the numbers that we're hoping for? So yeah, launches can be a little bit overwhelming, I think, but typically they have a lot of moving parts behind the scenes, and launches only go for like 7 to 10 days a lot of the time. So it seems like a really short time to do a lot of work, put in a lot of effort, and feel a lot of stress. Well, that's how I used to feel. I wasn't a huge fan of launches, really big launches for my first few years in business because of that workload. I think we all know I like to keep things really, really simple. But I also love a puzzle, and I found launches really interesting when I was watching my entrepreneurial friends do them. And they really can bring in great revenue, an incredible amount of revenue. So I had a go. I kept at it. And once I learned a few tricks to make launches simpler and more manageable, they became such a handy tool, not just for bringing in great money, but for growing and scaling my business at the same time. There are a lot of different ways to launch. Evergreen launches are my favorite because once they're set up, that's it. I don't have to do anything after that, and I have another income stream flowing in. And this means that I can keep my private client numbers low and enjoy just, working a couple of hours each day instead of having to work full-time hours. And whenever I want an income boost, I can do a quick launch or a collaborative launch like a JV, a joint venture launch. So there's a lot of power behind launching if you look at the different styles of launches you can do. And once you find the version of launching that works really well for you, I think you're going to love having that extra time, extra freedom, and more financial abundance in your business as well. But why do launches seem so stressful for everybody, right? I think it's usually the pressure to hit really, really big numbers, the stress of everything coming down to one moment. It's this week only. I can't launch again for 6 more months because this is the big offer. It has to work now or never. That sort of feeling, that's what weighs us down so much. And so what I've learned from that is that planning ahead makes a really big difference. Looking at a big launch is overwhelming, but breaking things down into smaller bite-sized tasks, spreading them out over time so that you're not in a hurry when you're working on it, that makes the whole process feel a lot less intense. And setting realistic goals helps too. Not everyone has to have $1 million first launch. Not every launch has to be a record breaker. Let's touch on time consuming because that's what I hear over and over again. Launches can take over your life if you let them. And it's true. You've got a long to-do list. You've got masses of content creation. It's a complicated tech setup. It can feel like a lot. And so what I've learned here is automation is my best friend. I automate as much as I can. And usually that looks like emails and social media posts. You can also delegate tasks, outsource tasks that don't need your personal touch. So if it doesn't need your face and it doesn't need your voice, then let someone else take care of it, and it'll free you up to focus on what you do best and the things that they actually need you for. The fear of the unknown is a really big one. What if you put yourself out there and you only hear crickets? The uncertainty of a launch can be a little bit scary. What if we do all that work and we have nothing to show for it at the end of the launch? I've learned here that you don't have to put all of your eggs into one launch basket. For me, soft launches, mini launches, these are great ways to practice and to get confident at sharing your products, running flash sales, promoting affiliate offers. It doesn't have to be one and done. It doesn't have to feel like feast or famine in the business. And I don't have to rely on just one massive launch each year, and that's either going to make it or break it. Launches are really good for people also, people who join my list who might have skipped a great offer when they first joined my email list, and I give them a really good discount or bonus on something. If they've skipped that and then they regretted it later, launches they're not just helping me, but they're helping people as well, because it gets them another chance to buy at a great price or enjoy a really good bonus with their purchase. So yeah, it's kind as well. And the tech, I don't think the tech really needs to be that complicated anymore. A few years ago, if I look back 10 years ago, yeah, the tech was complicated then. The tech was expensive. You had to have a techie mind to use it, or a ton of money to outsource it. I remember when I first started my online business, it seemed like everyone was using WordPress and building their own website from scratch and building their own course membership within that website, selling it with ClickFunnels that came along. ClickFunnels feels pricey to me. No matter what I'm earning, yeah. And it's not just ClickFunnels, it's other versions of that too. But that monthly payment, when you're paying a monthly subscription for every piece of software that you're using, setting up Zaps to automate student enrollment, it's very, very handy, but that's another subscription that you're paying for, and you've got to set it up. It's quite a complicated setup. Yeah, if you're paying through the nose for a more inclusive system too, like something like Infusionsoft, these are all really good software pieces, but the cost adds up over time, and that puts more pressure on you to have a bigger launch in order to pay for everything. And then, we haven't even talked about profit yet. So what I've learned there is the tech can be a lot simpler than we think it needs to be. Even just 5 years ago, Teachable came out. That was really, really helpful. Still a monthly subscription. And then I discovered Thrivecart. Thrivecart is so easy. It's one payment, lifetime access. You get the course hosting as well as the checkout. You can create sales pages. It's got pretty much everything I need. I use Thrivecart and ConvertKit. ConvertKit is for my emails. Lead Pages, I run my website through them, so I like their landing pages and sales pages as well. You can get away with just ConvertKit and Thrivecart for your launches. I find those two systems, they allow you to create landing pages, sales pages. You can send your launch emails. You can take your payments. You can host your online course. You can add students to it automatically and have the system deliver them the login information. And yeah, Thrivecart's a one-off payment, so it's much better on the budget. You can also use free tools like Canva and YouTube and other social media platforms to boost your launches. So there are free options out there that can help. So yeah, I think it's more simple and less expensive than ever to launch your own online course. And what about the financial risk? Spending money on a launch can feel like a big commitment, especially if you're not sure how it's going to turn out. And what I've learned here is if you're spending money on ads as part of your launch, I think it's best to start small and really test out that strategy with a limited budget, run 100 people through it, see what the numbers look like, and make sure it does at least convert at that 1% mark before you increase your investment in ads. And if it's not converting at least 1%, then tweak them, try again, don't scale until you know it's working. Or you could save your money altogether and not worry about paying up front, set up an affiliate program instead. You can reach other people's audiences really easily, and then you pay a percentage of the sale of the money you're already making, and you're paying it to a real person instead of to Meta. Okay, what about the emotional roller coaster? Launches can be big emotions, highs, very big highs, and also some lows. And I think what I've learned here is mindset is everything. Your launch doesn't have to be perfect, and you don't only get one chance at it. You learn something new every time, and what you learn in this occasion makes things easier and more flowy and more successful next time. And I've also found that if you follow a structured approach, it takes that mental load away. It makes everything a lot simpler. I've followed Jeff Walker's product launch formula for years, and I find that his method is step-by-step. It takes out the guesswork, gives me helpful resources, helps me with copywriting ideas, timelines from the start to the finish of the launch, little tips on how to convert more, those little conversion boosters. And so I don't stress out about accidentally missing a step, because when I followed that structure. It's all laid out neatly in front of me, and I just follow along at my own pace. I go down that little pathway while I put my launch together step by step, not worried about what I don't know. So that's been really, really helpful. Now, I think one key thing that a lot of people don't think about, though, is after the launch, that sort of post-launch burnout. Whatever kind of launch you're doing, it's still going to be some work. And if you're learning and launching at the same time, you can feel really drained when the launch is over, even if it's been really, really successful. So here I've learned that self-care, you would have heard me talk about this before, self-care is non-negotiable. I like to schedule in something that feels really, really good. And I like to put breaks in during and buffer time during a launch. And I plan for some really good quality downtime afterwards too, almost like a celebration, not necessarily of how the launch went, although no, it probably would be a celebration of the results, but also a celebration of what I've done and what I've taken action on and what I've achieved, and basically that I'm proud of myself. And I think when you plan those times and those activities in, and self-care looks different for everybody. It might be time in nature. It might be getting pampered and getting a facial. It might be taking a break and going to the movies. It might be taking a week off and doing nothing. Whatever it is for you, it's got to align with what you need. But knowing that I have time to rest and recharge after a launch makes the whole launch process so much more enjoyable for me. So yeah, if you're new to them, launches can be quite intimidating, especially if you're seeing other people having big launches, very successful launches, and you really want to try it yourself, but you feel a bit out of your depth. They don't have to be something that you stress about, and they don't have to be something that you procrastinate on. You can follow a step-by-step process. You can take care of yourself along the way. Don't put pressure on yourself to get it exactly right. And then I think when you come at it from that mindset, your launches are going to be a lot more manageable and successful and enjoyable as a result. So if you're planning on launching soon, but you're not sure where to start, now is the perfect time, because this week Jeff Walker is running his free product launch formula masterclass. I'm an affiliate for Jeff. I've loved his stuff for years. I do his product launch formula as a student, so I'm very familiar with his work. And in this masterclass, he walks you through how to create excitement around your offer, which I find really good if you're not a natural salesperson. He walks you through 3 ways to launch, and also how to choose the one that's the right one for you right now in your specific situation. And then he has this product launch blueprint, which is strategy and tactics and mechanics, and also a little bit of that mindset piece too, how to manage your mindset so that you can maximize your launch results, but also keep that peace of mind so that you're not burning out. And yeah, the masterclass is free. It's free until August 19th. So you've got, I'm recording this on the 16th. So if you're watching it today, you've got 3 days. You can sign up for it. I'll leave a link for you. It's an affiliate link. This is a free masterclass. But if you end up buying from Jeff later, I receive a commission. But yeah, I think having that step-by-step process really helps. Watching other people go through launches and seeing a little bit behind the scenes of how they do it is really, really helpful. And learning that launches are different for everybody, and it's not just a cookie cutter thing and everybody looks the same. There's so many different ideas out there. There are so many different ways that you can launch. It's just about finding the way that works for you. And often that starts with giving it a go and then tweaking it as you go through the process. So yeah, I would check out the masterclass. It's free until August 19. And I'd love to know, what would you like to launch this year? Let me know what you're working on. Let me know what you want to put out there. I'd love to chat about it. You know where to find me. I'm on Instagram all the time at Marissa Roberts Official. So come and let's have a chat about launches. I'll see you again soon. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Simpler Business Podcast. If you did, please subscribe, rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. There's a link in the show notes to make it nice and easy for you, just the way we like it. If you're ready to simplify and scale your business, you can get started with my free audio class at marissaroberts.com. See you next time.